NFL Week 4 is here. In this video, we go through every single game on Sunday and Monday Night Football, give you a favorite side or total in every single game. As always, they are time-stamped down below in case you want to jump around. As always, my name is Austin. I am joined by Logan, and first and foremost, Logan, we got to dive into how we did last week. I'm as hot as you can get. I went 11-5 last week, pulling my total to 32-15. In fact, I'm hitting at a 68% clip is nuts. You went 8-8. Not the best week, not the worst week. You can live with that. 55% clip for you this season. But Logan, you made it up. Best bet of the week. You cashed your over in the Jets and Bucks game. I cashed my under on Sunday Night Football with the Chiefs and Giants. We're both, dominating the best bet of the week. I'm 3-0, yet to lose. You're 2-1. Not too shabby. Like we always say, our best bet of the week, we save it for the end of the video. So stick around for that. But Logan, we got nothing else to dive into. Let's just dive right into these games, man. Let's have some fun. Oh, one final note. If you want all of our official picks, the ones we're rolling with, you can join the DubClub. The link is down below. Join for $5. We've been dominating our props and parlays, which will obviously have separate videos for that. Make sure you join. We'll link those videos at the end of this one. But Logan, let's dive into these things and let's get into our first game where we head out to Dublin, Ireland, where we have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, you're looking at the Vikings as 2.5-point favorites. The over under 41.5. I can lead things off here, Logan. I think this is a pretty easy one. I'm on the Vikings minus the points. Last week, I was on the Steelers. I said the Steelers are one of my favorite bets of the week. They came through. I'm not bought in on the Steelers team. I think, number one, their defense is not very good. And number two, I'm just not sold on Rodgers in this offense. The pass catchers, you really don't know what you're getting. DK Metcalf, sure, he has a touchdown or two on the season, but not a whole lot coming from him. The other guys I can't trust. The running game with Jalen Warren is really not all that great. And I just don't think this offense can consistently put up points against a team like the Vikings, who we know to blitz, and they love to get after the quarterback. We just haven't seen Rodgers be very mobile. Sure, I know he's later into his career. This might be his last year. I just think that Vikings defense is going to cause havoc on that Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. And at the end of the day, I'm fading the Steelers team. I'm just not bought in. Last week, they struggled to beat the Patriots, who turned the ball over 5 times. That's just not going to cut it, man. You're turning it over 5 times, barely winning. Give me the Vikings. They were in cat. I was looking at my best bets of the week. They are up there for me. Are you going to fade me? You're going to stay on me? What do you like in this game in Dublin, Ireland? Oh, also, my last note. This was the first week where we have 4 straight weeks of 9:30 a.m. Eastern time football. So get up early. We got to sweat this one out. But look, what you like here?
Can I interest you in a little breakfast? Squad ride together. We're gonna be on it. We're both gonna be on Minnesota in this one. You scared me a little bit. I won't lie. When you said I think this one's pretty easy, I'm on Minnesota. That made me a little nervous because that's exactly where my head went. And what does Pittsburgh really have in store? But you brought up the exact point I was going to make with New England turned the ball over, so many self-inflicted wounds, and Pittsburgh still didn't win that game convincingly. They kind of got lucky in a sense that New England was just shooting themselves in the foot. That being said, I'm really not impressed at all with what I'm seeing from the Steelers offense. They're still just I don't know what their identity is. If they had a true like RB1, okay, I think I would agree. But Jalen Warren is mediocre, and if you're a Jalen Warren stan, come fight me on that. But I mean, really, like DK Metcalf is just still trying to fit into this offense in a big way. And I loved what I saw from that Minnesota defense. I mean, they made Jake Browning look like an absolute fringe NFL starting quarterback. Like, not just a backup. They made it look like he should go back to the practice squad. That's how dominant that defense is, and I think they build off that. I love what Carson Wentz still is able to provide at this stage in his career. Give me Vikings.
Hey, man, I love the pick. Let's squad ride cash early to start the weekend slate. Next game, Logan, we move to is in Tampa, as we have the Eagles on the road taking on the Buccaneers. And man, I hate to do this to the people, but sound the alarms. My best bet of the weekend is in this game. If you have not watched the previous videos, you would know our best bet of the weekend is the one that we're like, hey, you put your life on the line. What's your favorite pick of the week? I'm 3-0. Logan's 2-1. We saved that pick for the end of the video, so make sure you stick around. You can skip forward to the end if you want, but I think you should stick around. So Logan, I'm going to let you talk about this game, and then we'll just move on to the next game. I'll talk about this game at the end of the video. My favorite pick is in this one. Logan, what do you like here, though?
I have a pick I really do like in this one. Not my best bet of the week, but I definitely see an edge on the total. I'm going to be on the under. Now, both of these two teams put up some fireworks last week. I mean, I think I was on the under in that Eagles game. That was a no sweat loser. Rams went all up and down the field. Tons of explosive offense in that one. And same with the Bucks game. My best bet of the week was the over in that Bucks Jets game. I said, I see both these secondaries getting cooked, and that's exactly what happened. No defense was really played in that one. Now you have a total sitting, in the low 40s. I think that's just really baiting some money on the over. I think so. Let's look at how these two teams match up. Tampa Bay, pretty good at stopping the run. Well, that's what Philadelphia wants to do. They want to run the ball. They want to run Saquon Barkley. Vita Vea is an anchor up front. Really hard to run on that Bucs defense. Plus, Bowles loves to blitz. He's going to get the ball out of Hurts's hands really quick, and you're not going to see those explosive plays to AJ Brown. I don't really see that coming. On the flip side, Baker Mayfield now missing Mike Evans. If I'm the Eagles, I'm going to find a way to stop Igbuka. I mean, it's not really hard to do to know where the ball's probably going offensively. So if you can limit Igbuka from those explosive plays, feels like he has a touchdown every week. Rashad White and Bucky Irving, those are his still good weapons. But again, I don't see a ton of explosive offense. I see some field goals in the red zone. Give me the under in this one.
Hey, I love your pick. I'm not saying anything else about that one. You'll have to see my thoughts on that game in the best bet of the week segment all the way at the end of the video. A reminder, everything is timestamped down below. Next game, we move on to the debut of Jackson Dart, who just today was announced that Russell Wilson is getting benched, and we're getting Jackson Dart coming in as he will start at home, taking on the Chargers. Now, you're looking right now at the Giants as 6.5-point favorites, or the Chargers as 6.5-point favorites. The over under at 43.5, Logan. I can lead things off. Actually, a rare over for me at 43.5. We've seen this. Let's just talk about both offenses. Chargers offense, they are throwing it at some of the highest levels in the league. Now Najee Harris is out. I can't see them committing to the run a ton. They're also coming off a very grueling, defensive matchup against the Broncos, where didn't feel like points were very free in that one. It's like they were coming at a premium. It was really hard to score there. I think their offense opens up here. I think Ladd McConkey finally gets going, as he has not had a lot going early on in the season. Chargers love to throw it even when they're leading. I think the Chargers are able to put up points on a Giants defense that has some good pieces, but just not a defense that I'm really sold on consistently being able to stop the Chargers. Then on the Giants offensive side, I know Jackson Dart is an unknown commodity. Do we know what he's going to look like in his first start? Maybe not, but I think that he's going to be a gunslinger. That's what we saw at his time in college. And I think he's going to be a guy who's going to be able to get it to his playmakers like Malik Neighbors and Cam Scadaboo getting the start. I just think this Giants offense will put up some points. I know it's a tough matchup against the Chargers, but like I said, they're coming off a very tough matchup against the Broncos. Very, a game you get up for, given it's a divisional rival. I think this Chargers, we could see a letdown spot for their defense here. I really like the Giants to put up some points, but honestly, the Chargers might have to carry the load there, but I think they could put up 30 on that Giants defense. I love the over in that game. But look, what do you like here?
I do like your angle on the over. I think if I had to pick a total in that one, I do agree with you. I see some points coming in that one. Sound the alarms. Logan's going to try to get sharp here. I'm taking the Giants with the points, and I despise that. But can I see them being annoying enough to cover this spread? I can. I mean, whenever a team kind of lays a stinker on primetime football, I normally look to target them in the next week if the matchup makes sense. And now, yes, the Chargers have been pretty good. I mean, they won a close game against Denver last week. Mind you, they were trailing in that game. It did kind of take some Herbo magic at the end of that game. So let's not act like they ran away from the Broncos. Now they face a pretty good, Giants defense. Again, in primetime, we watched Russell Wilson stink it up. Now with a new dimension in Jackson Dart. Now, how good is a rookie quarterback going to be? I don't know. Could this blow up in my face and they lose by 30? Yes. But also the unknown is that we don't really have film out on him in this Giant scheme. If I'm Jackson Dart, I'm still going to be able to use my legs in a stage of his career that Russell Wilson doesn't give them that dual threat type quarterback. So I think he's going to be able to just kind of move the ball in a way that they didn't have with Russell Wilson. Cam Scadaboo, still my guy. I love that guy. He runs really hard, like he's run through a brick wall. He's gonna be able to provide some good offense for this one, and I just hope the Giants defense rises to the occasion, which after losing in sort of embarrassing fashion to the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, I think they bounce back.
Look, if I were to take a spread, I would be on Giants in that one. I know we've been riding with the Chargers the last few weeks, but I do like to fade those teams that are coming off, tough divisional matchups where it wasn't just a cakewalk. You had to fight tooth and nail to get that win. I don't mind fading them. Now they have to go on the road with an early start. I could see
East
maybe a
Coast.
slip up here for the Chargers. I could. So I'm not saying that the Giants went outright like maybe the Packers lost outright last week, but does feel like a very safe leg in moneyline parlays as Chargers. And nothing is safe in the NFL, as we've seen time and time again. Let's keep things moving, Logan, to our next game where we have the biggest spread potentially of the year. We won't see many more 16.5-point spreads, but that is what the Saints are getting as they head to Orchard Park to take on the Bills. The over-under staying at 48.5. Logan, there's only two games on this card that I came into this video not 100% certain on where I was going to go. This is one of them. So I'm going to let you lead things off. I'm not going to fade you to your face unless your analysis is bad. I'll let you take it away. And if you convince me, I'll add it to my card. What do you like in this game, though? It's a stinky one.
For anybody who didn't watch last week, Austin came to the table with no pick in that Bears-Cowboys game, and he said, Logan, what do you like? And then he waited for me to finish and said, okay, I was fading whatever you're going to say. So this is another scenario when he's been red hot on the year, so I'd probably listen to him because this is not my favorite game at all. I'm going to go ahead and lean with the under in this one. Now, I absolutely despise it. You got a monster spread in this one. In my opinion, it's either Bills or nothing if you're going to touch the spread, because asking a team that, in the Saints to really cover a road spread like that, I was on the Saints team total under last week. It was free as air. I mean, that offense just looks bad. There was no shot at them scoring points. And that's kind of where my analysis in this one is. I think the Bills are going to have to backpack the majority of this team or the majority of the total in this game. Now, the question is, do the Bills want to run up the score a little bit? In years past, yes, they have. And big spreads like this have bit me, in the butt when I take an under on a big spread, because the Bills sometimes are feeling themselves. The Josh Allen's still in the fourth quarter, just throwing some deep balls. And I could see that. But I still think the Saints defense they have a little bit of pride on the line because the Seahawks just shellacked them. They looked as bad as they possibly could last week. Now facing Josh Allen, I think they're going to scheme up a little bit of a different defense. I mean, hell, whatever you did in Seattle didn't work. Let's go scheme up a little bit of defense, maybe force Josh Allen into some tough throws, stop Cook on the ground, and I just see an under in this one. 48.5, that's not an easy total to hit, if both teams aren't scoring.
Yeah, Logan, last week there were two games I went into the slate where I didn't know my pick. One of them was that Saints one, and that Saints Seahawks game, and you said Saints team total under, and I trusted you. I rolled with you, and I'll join you here. I'll take the under as well. For all the reasons you pointed out, I think this is a lower scoring game. The Bills obviously have a longer break than normal, coming off a Thursday night game, a little mini bye week. Sometimes we see teams coming out of that, especially against that very inferior opponent. Maybe we just don't take them seriously. Certainly could be the case. And the Saints, yeah, I get it. Their defense hasn't been good, and they gave up 38 points in the first half last week against the Seahawks. But let's be honest, there were some blocked punts. Punts returned for basically a touchdown. I mean, it was just everything that could have went wrong did go wrong for the Saints. Do I think their defense is good? Heck no. But I think they can maybe make a stop or two. We don't need them to make force punts and stuff, force turnovers, but a field goal here and there certainly could do it. The Bills defense should get healthier here. I like the under. I'll join you. I'll squad ride. There's one more game though on the slate that I will be honest, I'm going to fade you to your face. That is going to happen. But we'll stick for that game later on. It's not this next one, as we have the Browns go heading into Detroit to take on the Lions. 8.5-point underdogs here for the for the Browns, as they're given 8.5. Over under at 44.5. Logan, I can lead things off here. I'm actually going to be taking a rare team total, and it's going to be the Browns team total over 16.5. Yes, 16.5. I will take it. Now, we saw this Lions defense. They looked pretty good against Lamar Jackson and company on Monday Night Football, but now getting a short week, quick turnaround. I think Joe Flacco and the Browns offense puts up points. Now, number one, we've seen Quinshon Judkins. They finally have kind of a running back presence there. I think Jerry Jeudy finally gets going here. I think they're able to open up the offense a little bit more. I know they're coming off a big victory, and maybe you could look at some different angles to back the Browns plus the points, but I don't really want to do that. I just think their offense is going to put up 17 here. I don't know how they do it, but I think this Lions defense is riding a high horse, coming off, a good game against the Lamar Jackson. Short week here, short to prepare. Not going to take a team like the Browns maybe super seriously, although they will, given they just beat their divisional foe. I like a rare team total over here. Give me the Browns team total over 16.5. What do you like here, Logan?
I'm kind of going to fade you in this one, not directly, on their team total under, but I'm going to lay the points with the Lions. Again, some big spreads I feel uncomfortable about laying, but I'll lay the 9.5 with the Lions. I think by kickoff we could see this one even a little bit higher. Truthfully, I could see this line creeping a little bit. Now, recency bias says, well, the Lions are fresh off a big victory, on prime time. We all saw them win that game, and they won it pretty, handedly too. Besides the garbage time touchdown they allowed to Lamar. But if we're looking at the Browns, I'd argue they're in even a worse like kind of riding high spot. They played at home against a Packers team that looked really good coming into that one. And did they win it like in ugly Browns fashion? Yeah, they did. I mean, that's kind of how they have to win football games. It has to be ugly. Well, this Lions team has a lot of finesse. They can beat you in a lot of different ways. They can beat you out of the backfield with Gibbs and Montgomery, the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. They can beat you through the air with Amon-Ra. Jameson Williams didn't even really. He caught a few passes in the first like quarter or whatever, and they didn't even really need him the rest of the way, which I think was really interesting. They're saving some big shot plays for him, and I think you could still get that against this Browns defense. That is a good unit, but they're not. They're not. I don't think they're at the level of the Lions. And now they go to the road. See, if this was in the dog pound, I'd say, well, maybe the Browns kind of scrap it away. No, being in Ford Field, the Lions play very well at home. They've been, cover machines at home, and I'm not going to fade them in this spot. So give me the Lions. I'll lay the points.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like the Lions on the spread too. I think this one, if I'm taking the Lions, I like them first half. I think they could easily get up early in this one, and maybe they're putting up 28-0 sort of thing, and maybe Joe Flacco just garbage times his way to the spread. I like the Lions though; they've been just a cover machine at home, and the Browns defense hasn't really shown up as well on the road. We saw that Ravens game; they lost 41-17. Again, we both would cash in a similar outcome. Let's try to get one of those. Our next gun, we have the Commanders taking on the Falcons. The Falcons, and this is basically pick them. The Commanders are minus 120 on the money line, over under 44.5. Logan, there were 4 picks. I looked at the whole slate. There was four picks out of the 15 we'll talk about in this video that I was heavily considered for my best bet of the weekend. We already talked about one, the Vikings. Second one will be my best bet in that Bucs game. Third one actually was in this game. The reason Falcons money line is not my best bet of the weekend is for a couple reasons. The first main one is I don't know who starts at QB. Jaden Daniels or Marcus Mariota. I don't really know. I think I would lean towards Mariota based on what I've seen and the fact that they won last week. I'd lean towards him, but it could be Jaden Daniels. We're recording this Tuesday late in the evening, so we don't really know what happens come Sunday. But I do like the Falcons a lot here. We know how roller coaster of a sport the NFL is. The Falcons coming off a big victory against the Vikings on the road, go to face your Panthers, lay a complete egg. They look terrible. Now you get another good team, the Commanders, and then they bounce back and they look good. I think that could be the case here. I think the Falcons are a very good defense. I'm still concerned whether it's Mariota or Jaden Daniels. If it's Mariota, I don't know if he's going to be able to turn in 2 straight good weeks. If it's Jaden Daniels, he's coming off an injury. How 100% will he look? Damn, Terry McLaurin could be injured as well. So I think there's a lot of things going against the Commanders here. Falcons need to bounce back. I think they do. Love them on the money line. But Logan, what do you like here?
I'm afraid, Austin, that I think Falcons are fake sharp in this one. I'm sorry,
Okay.
and I hate to do that, but when I'm looking at sometimes NFL spreads, I say, where do I want my money? I don't want them on the Atlanta Falcons. That team's historically fake sharp. I'd argue they are the definition of fake sharp. The books always price them like they're going to compete in these games, and they don't. I mean, gosh, what a terrible week last week. And I know in the NFL it's hard to not overreact to what we saw. But damn it, the Carolina Panthers shut them out, and that's not a good defense. The Commanders are significantly better than the Carolina Panthers. Newsflash. So I think they're going to provide a lot of difficulties for Penix Jr. To really move the ball in that one. I really don't like anything Falcons related. The fact that the Bijan Robinson was really kind of held in check by a terrible Panthers run defense would really have me scratch my eye. I was like, wow. I mean, what could better teams do? I think the Commanders are going to scheme up. I mean, Dan Quinn, revenge game. You believe in that? I think that Dan Quinn and the Commanders will definitely be prepared for this one. Do I worry that it's Mariota? Not really, because I saw Bryce Young still able to move the ball. So I think Mariota can do it. Mariota's got better weapons at his disposal. He's a veteran quarterback. He'll be fine in this one. Commanders on the road. This is a fake sharp Falcon spot. Remember that when you're placing parlays. I know this one looks weird, but it's not. Just go Commanders and you'll win this bet.
All right. Spoken very confidently. We'll see how that one goes. Let's move it, Logan. Let's go to our next one. Battle. We have 2 battles of 2 teams that are seeking their first win. This one, which will be the Titans taking on the Texans, both 0-3. One of these teams has to get a win, right? We can't get a tie in this game. We'll talk about the next one, Monday Night Football. But Logan, I'm looking at this game. I look at a total of 38.5, and I hate to do it. I'm going to take the over, and I really I don't like it. But it feels like, and I don't know if they're capable. I'll be honest. I'm going to say this before I say the statement. I don't know if these two teams are capable of this. This feels like that Jets and Steelers week 1 game. Everyone's just on the under, low total, and then just max points. I liked, well, I didn't like what I saw out of the Texans, but I saw some things we can build on. And that would be getting Nico Collins the ball downfield. Woody Marks was a spark plug out of the backfield. I like to see that. I know their offensive line has question marks at home. Maybe their offense can show up. And as for the Titans, their defense really hasn't looked, great. They've given up 33 and 40 points the last 2 weeks. And I think the Titans offense, I think Cam Ward, another start under his belt. I think their offense maybe opens up a little bit here. We'll see if Derek Stingley is playing for this game. I hate it. I'll be honest. I don't want to talk about this game anymore. Give me the over. I hate it, though. I really do. What do you like here?
I mean, Austin, you know my philosophy in division games, especially with a team not looking good in the Texans. I'm not gonna just try to catch a falling knife. That's exactly what betting Texans on the spread is. It's they haven't looked good. Why are they laying 7? I don't care. I'm taking the Titans plus the points. They got to show me first before you lay that number with the Texans. I agree with you. I think if I had to pick a side or pick a total, like maybe the over because there's some points in there. But I don't think it's coming from the Texans. I don't. That offensive line is so bad that the Titans can hang around in this game. Cam Ward's able to. I think he'll be able to extend plays, something he's pretty good at. I mean, he's really good, outside of the pocket, rolling, on the run, throwing on the run. Hopefully he's able to do that against a Texans defense that when they needed to make stops in that Jacksonville game, did they get them? No, they didn't. They had to get Jacksonville off the field in that late game, and they weren't able to do it. So now laying 7 points, I don't think it's smart to just say, well, this is a must win for the Texans. They're surely going to cover that spread. If the Texans win by 4, that wouldn't shock me at all. If they win by a field goal, wouldn't shock me at all. This team's not deserving of being touchdown favorites. It's just the books kind of, tossing them a desperation bone because this is a spot that they need to win coming back home. I think Texans or the Titans might play spoiler to the Texans in this divisional game. I think that's just too many points. Give me the Titans.
I don't even need to comment. Let's just move on. Let's move on. But sound the alarms, Logan. Word on the street. You told me pre-show your best bet is in this next game. Panthers taking on the Patriots. So if you want to know Logan's thoughts in this game, you're going to have to wait till the end of the video for his best bet as he tries to hit 2 in a row and move to 3-1. But Logan, I will give my pick for this game. I will be on the over. And I have a lot more overs than I normally have on the card already through the video. This is my 3rd one of the video and 4th if you include the Browns. But Panthers defense cannot possibly be as good as they were last week. I get it. They've seen Penix before. And no, they're just not that good. And Drake May, if you watch that Patriots offense based on what we've seen out of Stevenson and Gibson and stuff, they ain't running the football ever again. They just refuse to. This team, they're like the Chargers 2.0. It's just slinging it. And I just hope Travion Henderson maybe starts to get a little bit more work here. I mean, there's no reason not to. He's looked like the more explosive guy, and he's not putting the ball on the ground, which you like to see. I think the Patriots are able to put up points here on the Panthers defense. On the flip side, I don't really think I don't really think this Patriots defense is all that good. We'll see if Christian Gonzalez and company plays, but like Bryce Young on the road, I get it. People might be concerned, but I think they're able to put up points. I think they have a good enough run game to run it on the Patriots. Tet McMillan is just waiting for a breakout game. Does it come here? If Gonzalez is out, I don't really know, but I do think there's points in this game. 43.5 feels like a low total given it's just these two teams and they don't carry a lot of, these two teams can put up points. But I realistically could see Patriots put up 28 plus. I can see the Panthers is scoring 21 plus. I'll love an over in this game. But Logan, you have to wait to give your thoughts. Best bet segment, end of the video. Let's keep things moving. We go to the 4:00 window. First game on in the 4:00 window, the Colts taking on the Rams. The Rams 3.5 point favorites, over under at 49.5. Logan, I've talked enough for a little too long. What do you like here?
Austin, you know where I'm at. You know I've been rolling with Indiana Jones. Why would I go away from him now? I'm still on the Colts, and they've been printing for me. Like, why would I go away from what's been working? Now, I understand this could be a spot that the Rams provide some trouble with them because I'd argue this is one of the better teams they faced, and now on the road on the West Coast, this is going to be a test for Danny. I think if he's able to just not turn the ball over, do not revert back to Giants Daniel Jones of trying to do too much. This Colts team's legit. The fact that you can get Jonathan Taylor, running like he is right now, he's in peak form already this early into the season until he really gets banged up. which we've seen a little bit happen with Jonathan Taylor. Every now and then he gets a little banged up, and then he's not 100%. Right now he's 110%. He's running so well. That offensive line is blocking so well for him right now. They're giving Daniel Jones clean pockets. And when Daniel Jones is a clean pocket, he looks like a really good starting NFL quarterback. It's not a mistake that he's able to have time to throw down the field to Pittman Jr. That's not a mistake. They're doing a very good job offensively, and I think they're going to have a shot to win this game and just to continue this narrative of, hey, where are the Colts coming from? This is a good team. We didn't really see, there weren't signs of it coming into this year. No one had expectations for this team. The Rams might be, they might have a little bit of a hangover considering that they got that game stolen from them really by the Eagles. I mean, this is a hangover potential for the Rams. I like the Colts in this one, getting the field goal in the hook. This could be an easy field goal type game, so give me Indianapolis.
Yeah, I already had my pick for this video, this game before the video, so it's not just me blindly fading you, but I will be on the Rams minus the points.
Oh.
I think this one could reach a blowout. This could be a 2+ touchdown game. I really do. I think this could be a beatdown, and I like the Colts. I do. I think they're a very good team. But this is the toughest matchup they'll run into. Back-to-back road games for going back home to get 2 straight at home. Coming up a Rams team that, sure, they probably could have won, blew that game. We're up 19 against the Eagles, just couldn't get it done. I don't like this spot for Indiana Jones. Number one, the Colts, they love to run the football, but the Rams have been very good at stopping the run. I mean, Saquon last week, 18 for 46. So again, a tough spot there. And then when you look at the secondary, I think the Rams, who are going to be down a guy or two here, but I think they're able to make enough stops and get enough pressure on Daniel Jones. I mean, we've seen Daniel Jones years past when he gets pressured, the man doesn't know how to throw the football. And they face some not great defensive fronts. Miami, Denver, he had a good game. We'll give him credit, but that was at home. And then Tennessee. I think this is a really tough spot for the Colts. I think their secondary has overachieved so far through this season, and they've been relying on, some guys to shut them down. But this is not an easy offense to shut down. I mean, you got Puka Nacua, you got Devontae Adams, we got Kyron Williams in the backfield. I think this one could get out of hand. Maybe that's disrespectful. Maybe it's just they cover.
I think it is disrespectful. I think you need to stop fading this Colts team. They're legit.
Yeah, I mean, they're good. We'll see. This is a big test for him. We'll see how Daniel Jones does it. Next game, we move to the Jaguars taking on the 49ers. San Fran is currently 3.5-point favorites. The over-under at 47.5. Logan, I can lead things off because this was my fourth one of my top 4 picks that I really looked at hard. Jaguars plus 3.5. The reason it is not on the official card, and I talked about this, I'm not sure who starts for 49ers. If it's Brock Purdy, he's banged up. Is it Mac Jones, who's also banged up? I have no idea. If it's not one of those two, I don't really know who the heck's starting for him. But I do like the Jags here to potentially pull off an upset. And I think this is a tough spot for this 49ers team because we're talking about all the injuries they've dealt with. Nick Bosa, the most recent one. And I look at them coming off a win that they really had to fight for against the Cardinals. And who do they get up next? Thursday Night Football against the Rams. This feels like a spot where maybe we're a little bit more conservative with McCaffrey. Maybe we're just play with our food because it's a Jaguars team we don't see all too often. I could see the Jags playing spoiler here. I'm not taking it as my best bet of the week because the Jaguars, I don't know if they've earned that right, but I really like the Jags here. What do you like, Logan? You want to fade me?
No, I'm not going to fade you because I do agree. I think the Niners are kind of on borrowed time as far as like they did kind of get lucky last week. They made the plays when they needed to, and they're just not all that convincing of a team just given the injuries. I mean, we that's the narrative that's already out there. I like the first half under in this one, and I don't have the exact line. We'll just have to figure that out along the way. But thinking like game flow wise, it takes a while for this Jags offense to really get going. I mean, they're not quick starters. I don't really know what their identity is. Brian Thomas Jr. I thought that was their go-to guy this year. He's been kind of a slow starter. De'Ami Brown is that a viable option? I think he got banged up a little bit and even in that last game. But really, if you can stop the Jags running game, ETN and Tootin, I think this offense is just bound for field goals at best in the red zone. And maybe they'll make some halftime adjustments. That's why I'm on the first half under, is because I think both these teams just come out of the gates a little bit slow. and then maybe figure it out, as the second half goes on, because that total is a little bit high. And I know that if there's anything I note about the Jags defense is they fade late in games. That's why the Jags are not a consistently good team, is because their defense kind of lapses later in the games. And that same thing can be said about the Niners. Now, their defense is pretty good. Obviously, losing, Bosa doesn't help, but they're still a very conservative offense in their current form. Not having any of the explosive playmakers anymore, like, Debo's gone, Ayuk's injured. Like, it's like, this is not your Niners team of old. And McCaffrey didn't really do a whole lot last week. He didn't really have to. I mean, it's just, they're going to be conservative. And I love the fact that you bring up their next matchup. Why go all out offensively, especially early against the Jaguars team, then when you got to play a good, a short turnaround divisional game next week. So I see less points in this one early. Maybe they come late, but I'm just going to take the first half under.
I love that pick. It's 23.5. Although the graphic would have already said that, but that is the line we will roll with as it is
Perfect.
Tuesday evening. I love that pick though. I do. I that's one of the reasons I'm not really taking the Jags for my full game, because I mean, I could see them fading late in that one and maybe just choking or something like that. I could see plenty of different. And Trevor Lawrence is just not my favorite guy to back. If I'm looking, something's there that's off. Our next game, we have arguably one of the biggest games on the slate. The Ravens taking on the Chiefs. We have 2 1-2 teams. One of these 2 teams is going to drop to 1-3, and we need both of them to make the playoffs for one of our futures. But you're seeing the Ravens as 2.5-point favorites. The over under 48.5. Logan, I said there were 2 games. I didn't know what I was going to pick. This is the one I will be blindly fading you. So whatever you say, I am blindly taking the opposite of it, regardless of what it is. It could be the most obscure thing. I'm blindly fading you. I don't know what to do here. So I'm sorry. The ball's in your court. I'm going to take the opposite of it. What do you got?
All right, for any of you guys watching, get better friends. Don't get a friend that just says, "I don't. Whatever you bet, I don't trust that you're a good enough better. I'm just gonna fade whatever comes out of your mouth." So you can get better friends than Austin. That being said, Austin, I'm rolling with the Chiefs. I'll take the Chiefs plus the points in this one. I think they actually do get this win in Arrowhead, and I think that's kind of what the difference is. Number one, Baltimore Ravens defense. They don't look they look kind of like a shell of themselves without Matabike. Now, what his injury status is at the time we're recording this, no idea. And if he doesn't play, I love the Chiefs even more, because that defensive front is not the same. The Lions were able to win the upfront battle. And that's kind of what the Chiefs are going to do. They need to establish the run game. That's what's missing really from this Chiefs offense of like being next level. Having Pacheco and Kareem Hunt are good in theory, but they have to be more efficient on the ground. And obviously the Ravens, if you're just looking matchup on paper, that doesn't look like a good matchup. But I think this defense is a little bit more overrated this year than years past. You're able to run on them, as seen by the Lions. I mean, come on. That's what they're going to want to do. They're going to want to, do short intermediate passing game with Kelsey, etc. I still think that offense is going to be good enough. And then we talk about the Chiefs defense. Chiefs defense is a significantly better unit than the Ravens defense, and especially at Arrowhead. Now, if it was neutral site, I would have to sit back and think about that statement for a second. But Lamar Jackson with the crowd noise and everything like that, are obviously, Derrick Henry, he can't take care of the ball. That's 3 fumbles. I think I have that right. 3 fumbles. The human psychological element of this, I don't care what it is. If you are fumbling the ball, that is in the back of your head. And you will not see the exact same efficient, explosive Derrick Henry that you will. It's because he is fumbling the ball. This Chiefs defense will be able to key on him. They will stop him. If you can contain Lamar even half as well as Detroit did, I think Kansas City wins this game outright, but I'll take them with the points just for a little safety.
Yeah, add Baltimore to my card. Add them minus the 2.5. I don't care. Everything you just said, I don't care. Give me the Ravens. They're winning that game. They're winning it by 3. Give it to me. Yeah. Let's move on, Logan. Let's get to our next game. I actually did like the Ravens, though. If I were to actually make a pick in that one, I'm blind. Well, I am kind of fading you, but I was going to take Ravens regardless. I can't trust that Chiefs team, man. I need Matabike back, though. I hate it if he's not there. Next game, we have the Bears taking on the Raiders. Another pick 'em here is the Bears are minus 110. On the money line, they're over under 47.5. I looked at this game. It could have gone back in a couple different places. Talking about fake sharp, that's the Raiders. So give me the Bears on the money line to maybe start looking like a good team after a big win against the Cowboys. Could the Bears be back with Ben Johnson under center? Get Caleb Williams slinging it to Roma Dunze and company. I love the Bears. Do I love their defense? No. But their defense doesn't need to play great because that Raiders offensive line is terrible. Now, if there is ever a time for Ashton Genty to get going, I'd argue it's now. It's now or never, my friend. But I am not sold. Geno Smith is a fraud. He gets paid too much money. Play Aiden O'Connell, even though I think he has a broken thumb, still be better than Geno. Give me the Bears on the money line. Add it to my card. Logan, what do you got here?
I love Raiders, and I would take them minus like 6.5. I think they win this game by at least a touchdown. If I'm looking for an alt spread, something just obnoxious, I think either the Raiders are going to lose this game outright, and this is a loser, or I think they win convincingly because this Bears defense is not a good unit, and they had the luxury of facing Dallas without CeeDee Lamb. I mean, many teams would want to do that. I mean, that's half the Cowboys game plan gone right there in one snap once he left the game. So I mean, this Bears defense wasn't really tested last week, and they're still not a good unit in football. What I liked about the Raiders game, even though on paper they did not look good against the Commanders, I still like the fact that they were able to put up some points late, establish some rhythm, and it comes on an unlikely source. Trey Tucker. I mean, a guy, if you play fantasy football, that guy is going to get some attention on the waiver wire because this isn't a guy that he kind of came out of nowhere. Explosive downfield guys like that, I think is going to prevent the Bears from really, getting aggressive up at the line of scrimmage, and that will open up the game for a guy like Ashton Genty, who, God bless him. I mean, he's learning how important offensive line is in offensive line plays in the NFL because he cannot block for himself. He's being contacted 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage almost every time I watch it. I swear. If they get better blocking, and I think they can win the upfront battle against this Bears defense, then it really opens up the game for this Raiders. So I think the Raiders win this game. I think it's at least by a touchdown. So guys, if you're looking to kind of get nasty with me, give me Raiders and give me them all in the alt spread.
Oh, all right now. All right, Logan, let's calm down. We moved to our primetime games, Sunday Night Football, and then we have 2 Monday Night Football games before getting to our best bets of the weekend. Next one, we have the return of Micah Parsons to Dallas, where the Green Bay Packers are laying 7.5 points. The over-under sitting at 47.5. Logan, you started a new system last week. It was a fire system, 1-0. So I'll let you tell people what the system is. I'll get to my favorite pick for this game.
So my system, and I sort of explained it last week, is I take the team facing the Packers defense. I take their first half team total under, and I don't really care what the line is. Now, this week it's a little dicier. It's 9.5, but you're getting plus value on it. So I'm value hunting here. I'll take the system play once again. Now, here's why I roll with the system. Number one, Packers defense, very elite unit, very hard, especially to see and to game plan against early on. You can make adjustments against them, but they are such an aggressive defense. They play a lot of, press man on the edge. They play, they just blitz guys, and the offensive line is confused in blocking assignments because you never really know where the pressure's coming from. That's going to make life very miserable for Dak Prescott. It's going to make life even more miserable for him that he doesn't have his safety blanket in CeeDee Lamb. So all that being said, I really don't see the Cowboys really being able to have any sort of red zone efficiency. Now, if in the later half of the game, they want to find some adjustments, because that's the thing. Is like if you block enough guys, maybe you give Dak enough time, but those adjustments are more likely than not to come at halftime. The Packers defense is just such an aggressive unit out of the gate. That's why this system play works. It's actually hit in every game the Packers have played. It's just I started taking it last week. They're such a good unit first half of the game, and they're hard team to face.
Yeah, I love the system, and I'll support you with it. I was going back and forth in this game. I think if CeeDee Lamb were playing, I'd be on the Cowboys, but I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers minus 6.5. I'll buy the half point. It's minus 120. I think the Cowboys are just the definition of fake sharp, man. That team, just their name value alone gets them a point or so, I feel like, on the spread. And I can't buy into them, man. This is just a team that I just don't feel like they have any heart. And I get Micah Parsons. I don't know if he probably gets booed. You think maybe gets booed? What do you think? You think he gets booed when he comes out? Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. But I'm not bought in on them, man. And I don't know if they're able to make enough plays with their run game, and just with Dak Prescott having to find Jake Ferguson. Like Jake Ferguson with 13 receptions, that's just not gonna cut it. And I get that this is a motivational game for him, but every time I feel like the Cowboys are in one of those spots where it's like, this is the spot where no one's going to back them. Everyone, they got to show up. They're facing some added motivation or something on the other side, whether it's trash talk or something, and they just never do. So I'll take the Packers. I don't really love it. I think the sharp side is to be on the Cowboys, but look, I can't get fake sharp with them. I just don't think I think the Packers have the better roster by a long shot, the better head coach. And I get they're on the road, but they're coming off a tough loss. And then they win that one by 7. So give it to me. Next, we move to some Monday Night Football games, Logan. And we'll start with my New York Jets taking on the Dolphins. Now, hate that they went back to the hour difference between these two Monday night games. We have one at 7:15, one at 8:15. So that's going to be a little bit annoying. But I will be actually taking the under in this game. Between the Jets and Dolphins at 45.5. We saw the Jets put up a ton of points last week with Tyrod Taylor. I would imagine Justin Fields is back under center, returning back from his concussion. And then on the other side, the Dolphins had a very competitive game against the Bills. They could have honestly won that game. I think it's a slower paced game. The Jets, this offense does not have a lot of firepower. We don't really take a lot of deep shots, don't have a lot of explosiveness. And I get the Dolphins defense didn't look great the first 2 weeks, but last week against the Bills, they didn't look terrible. They were able to get off the field in some of those stops. And the Bills' offense is so much better than what the Jets are trotting out there every week. Then on the Dolphins side, I just haven't loved what I've seen out of their offense. I mean, Tua doesn't attempt throws past 10 yards down the line of scrimmage. He just doesn't throw it deep. And the Jets, I feel like, can make enough plays. We'll be down Quincy Williams, which I think is a big loss for their defense. But I'm not too scared about that one. I think it's a lower scoring game, maybe like a 24-20, maybe type final score. But love the under. What do you like here, Logan?
The more I thought about it, the more I kind of like this pick. I think it's in my like top 10 of bets, but of like this slate. So for what that means, we didn't make that many picks. So it's in my top 10. It's not I'm just betting this game just to bet it, but I like the Dolphins and I think they win this game, at least covering the spread. Potentially they win this one going away because I like what I saw from them last week on Thursday night. That is something to build off of. Now, obviously, they didn't get that win. It was, kind of a heartbreaker the way that one finished down the stretch because the Dolphins were right there. They had us wondering, are they going to beat the Bills outright on the road? This is why the NFL is great, kind of things. Divisional games like that happen, and I think they're going to build off of what they did. Now, what's the identity of this Dolphins offense? They love Achane out of the backfield. You're right. Tua doesn't have to throw it deep because that's not what he's asked to do these days. If you have any sort of doubts about Tua, you try to stay healthy. What do? You get quick strike throws to Achane. You get quick strike throws across the middle of the field, little easy slants to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, etc. And that works against the Jets defense. That holy crap. I don't even know why Aaron Glenn was doing that little dance on the sideline after the block touchdown. You know why? I don't know why he was doing that dance because his defense had to come back out on the field and he knew in the back of his mind, we're not really going to be able to stop Baker in crunch time because that defense is not good. You just let the Bucs go right down the field on them. Their secondary is terrible, and now you mentioned Quincy Williams out, another lost piece. I think the Dolphins win this one, and I think they at least cover that, 2.5, 3.5, or 3 field goal spread. So give me the Dolphins. I'll lay the points with them.
Yeah, I mean, I would be on the Dolphins too. Stat for you to support you. Jets have lost 9 straight games at Miami.
Make it 10.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Could make it 10. We'll see. Our final game of the week before we get into our best bets of the week. Bengals taking on the Broncos, the second part of a Monday Night Football doubleheader. The Broncos 7.5-point favorites. The over/under sitting at 44.5. Logan, I can lead things off. I like the Bengals plus the points here, plus 7.5. I think it's a big number. Jake Browning and the Vikings against the Vikings, they look terrible. An abysmal performance. But I think that they keep this one close. I think you just take that game, you look at the tape, and you just throw it in. You might not even need to watch the tape. They were just fumbling it left and right. Everything spiraled out of control. And I feel like that's why the spread now sits at 7.5. I don't see the Broncos, honestly, as a 7.5-point favorite against really many teams. I get that they have a lot of high hopes coming in here, but their defense has looked all right. Last week giving up 23 to the Chargers, looking okay. I think Browning is able to get things going here. They do need to get Chase Brown going. That guy looks like if I were running for them, their offensive line not doing him any favors. I think maybe this is a week that they do something. And I just think outside, they have T. Higgins, who hasn't done a whole lot, but he can get going quickly. Jamar Chase, they have good weapons. I think they're able to put up points here. Maybe the safer play is Bengals team total over, but I think they keep this one within a touchdown. I've just not bought in on Bo Nix just yet. Something about him, man, this season. Teams are trying to game plan a little bit better for him. A lot of interceptions, turnovers and stuff, missed throws. I like the Bengals plus the points. But Logan, what do you like here to wrap up the card before we get into our best bets?
I can see your angle. I mean, Bengals. That's one of those picks that you'll look like a genius if it hits, and you'll look like a moron if they lose by
Yeah.
14. That being said, I'll take the Broncos team total over. I cannot stand this Bengals defense. I think they're a terrible unit. On the road in Mile High, that's just not where I want to find them. With explosive playmakers, on the edge, like Cortland Sutton, I don't really see how they're going to be able to stop him. And I think they'll be able to get the ground game going. Something that we saw, dude, Jordan Mason. Oh my gosh, he ran rampant on this Bengals defense last week. Why can't the two-headed monster? Why can't J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey do this exact same game plan? I don't see a reason why they won't be able to run the ball. And when you run the ball, then you can set Bo Nix up for some play action shots down the field. I think red zone offense is going to be the key in this one. I'm seeing the line at like 25.5. I think there's just going to be a lot of touchdowns. I think in the first half alone, we could see the Broncos put up like 21 points, get us a big way towards this team total over. And then we don't really have to worry about maybe Jake Browning being cheeky and covering the spread or anything. No, give me the Broncos team total over. Love that in this game.
Hey, I like the pick. I like it. But Logan, it's time. Let's get into our best bets of the week. I'll lead things off. I am 3-0 on the season, dominating. All three of them have been pretty sweat-free. Today, we go to that Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Philadelphia Eagles for my best bet of the weekend. The one out of all the games. I'm looking at the board, all the games. This is my favorite. And it's our first half under 23.5 in the Eagles and Buccaneers game. Logan talked about this one with his full game under, so I don't need to harp into every single thing he said. But I look at this as a tough matchup for both offenses. Number one, we talked about the Eagles. What they want to do, they want to run the football. Tough to do against this Buccaneers front. I get their secondary is wishy-washy. You don't really know what you're getting from them. But again, their front seven with Vita Vea, that's as tough as it is to run. And we've seen the Eagles struggle against this Todd Bowles defense. I think they'll step up. They just signed Desmond Watson. I doubt he's in there for the tush push. That would be electric, though, if he is. I really think the Eagles offense will struggle a little bit here. Eagles typically don't really get going until that second quarter. Maybe, hopefully they save that for the second half. As for the Bucs offense, a lot of question marks there. Will Chris Godwin be back here? Maybe, but if he is, he's not playing a full complement of snaps. Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield's go-to guy, is definitely out. A lot of the offensive line continues to be out. We'll see if Tristan Wirfs is back. But again, a lot of question marks on that Bucs offense. They haven't been able to run the ball all too well, and it's going to be tough here against a good Eagles defense. I get that they didn't play super well against the Rams last week, but again, the Rams, a much different task than defending a team in the Buccaneers who are down their best wide receiver, and potentially, it's going to be the Ibuka show. But again, Ibuka, a rookie, being able to game plan where he's the number one option, a much tougher task than when he's got Mike Evans drawing a lot more defensive focus towards him. I think it's a tough spot for both offenses. I could see a lower scoring game, maybe 10-7 at the halftime. I really like the first half under here. That's my best bet of the weekend, trying to go to 4-0. Love it. But Logan, we talked about your best bet, what game it is, but the people need to know what it is. Take it away.
So I really like what you just said, because we kind of played hand in hand with how we analyze these games. I like your first half under a lot, and my pick is kind of in a similar analysis to what you liked in the Panthers and Patriots game. This time though, I'm just rolling with the Patriots team total over 23.5. A little bit juiced on this one, but 24 is kind of a key number because that's 3 touchdowns and a field goal to cash this over. And I see plenty of offense on the New England side. Now, what Carolina does to contribute to this total, I don't really know. I don't want to ask Bryce Young to put up any points. That's why I'm not on the full game over, I think, like Austin is. I just want to attack this Patriots angle because last week, if you're just looking at final scores, just box score final scores, those numbers can be a little deceiving because the Patriots offense looked really good. They were moving the ball up and down the field. The problem was turnovers, and that just kills the team, kills the drives, kills the momentum that they had. They had some momentum. Drake May looked very good. This offense is kind of operating at a fast pace. They aren't the Patriots offense of old where they're just fine with, winning a game 10-3 or 10-7. That's not how they operate anymore. Drake May offers a new dimension, a explosive playmaker. And the difference is in this matchup specifically for Carolina's defense is they don't get the luxury of game planning against Michael Penix Jr. and a Falcons team that is in the division and they've played year in and year out. Now you go on the road in New England, a team that you're very unfamiliar with, and a team that I think is going to dominate the Panthers secondary. And I think their defensive line is going to get absolutely pushed back, which will open things up for guys like Ramondre Stevenson, who has, he's fumbled. That's tough. That happens. And Travion Henderson as well. I think both these guys are liable for some touchdowns on the ground. And Drake May is very good, through the air, a lot better than I really thought entering this year. So Panthers defense is going to be shredded by a dual threat guy like Drake May. Drake May is going to have at least 50 yards on the ground, just be able to run all over this Panthers defense. They're so ill-equipped to go into New England and shut down New England. So just give me their team total over, and we're just going to cash that bet. And hopefully, Austin, we can both hit our best bets once again this week.
Let's get it done. Those are our favorite bets of the weekend. As always, let us know your favorites down below. Like I said, if you want all the official picks we're rolling with on Sunday, you can definitely get those all in the DubClub. It's only $5 for your first month. Get on in there. The NBA is a month away. So look, that'll carry in the NBA. We'll probably run another discount offer for the full NBA season or something like that. Either way, get in the DubClub, join it, join the community, get linked up in the Discord. It's a ton of fun. If you're like, Austin, where's your Thursday night football picks? We do a separate video for that one. That video will be linked on the screen, as well as all our player prop videos once they are live on Saturday. Either way, those are our favorite picks. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys back again next week talking about the whole entire slate and hopefully recapping a couple more best bet winners. We'll see you guys then. Peace.